can say, okay, maybe things have just not gone too well. Either way, we're straight back into what looks like the pistol, leaving just Hayes left alive to try and hold on to this bomb plant. And, well, he's actually in a great position. He's got behind all of them. Ape is going to spot him out eventually, though, and that's going to be a problem in terms of the defuse, which is already coming in. Ape has the kit, and, well, he doesn't even need to use it, as the full stick will come in from Uber.
Yeah, the defuse is going to be going the way of Complexity early on, as they went out that first round. 3 frags on the back of Ape and 2 on Android. An impressive showing there to retake that. Sadly, we didn't really see too much of it, but, you know, I imagine what it was fantastic. The first round, like we say, going to be going the way of the CTs. It's going to allow them now to buy up. And, well, we can see 3 UMPs on the side of Complexity to try and farm up some money. That's because they know CLG got the plants. They're going to be going for that 3rd round buy. And as a result, going into this round, they're going to be completely naked.
Yeah, no, they have nothing to play with. You could even say that Hayes is going to be flashing. I've ruined it. It's over.
Yeah. Well,
done. I'm
yeah,
done.
no,
I'm out. See ya. You can do it now.
Just retire.
I didn't get to say my joke. I'm disappointed.
Well, I'm sure not many other people are, but it's all going to be on Kusta now. 1 versus 3. Does have a P250 to try and hold on to this one. It's going to get spotted out though and tagged down low. He's on 10 HP, but the Dream is still ever so slightly alive. Tries to make his way up the red train over by Electrical. Goes out for the spot, but he's got Surreal by Connector in a very good position just to have him pinned. I mean, he is stuck between the definition of a rock and a hard place right now. I'm going to line up a couple of frags here and there, but Ape coming in with the rifle at long range is always going to come up ahead, sadly. It's going to go 2-0 as Complexity pick up the 2nd round, convert the anti-eco as you would expect. And, well, now it's going to be a buy on the cards for CLG.
Yeah, of course, they get themselves that bomb plant and will be able to get themselves a buyback on the board. Utility won't be too bad, actually. They have a few smokes in play, but no Molotovs, so no angle clearing to be made, but could deal with some sort of execute onto the A side. Of course, in terms of B, I feel like Molotovs do become a little bit more valuable, especially with an aggressive push. You want one thrown in to the connector position to hold off any rotations that are available, and you also really want one saved until the end. We've seen that strategy used a bajillion times where you Molotov off the bomb towards the end, but it's still one that can be quite effective. Now, we do have a little bit of a lull in play at the moment, but in terms of the CT side, we can still talk about how their economy is going. Now, they've got themselves plenty of utility to play with. 3 Molotovs, in fact, ready for any sort of, well, for starters, you need one on B, I think, just to slow that rush. If anybody goes to run down ramp, you need to have a Molotov to just slow that down. But also at retake scenarios, Molotovs are always going to be very valuable.
Yeah, definitely. So Molotovs being a very, very key thing in the you know, many arsenals of the different types of utility the defensive players can get their hands on. And while CLG in this round, like we said, it's going to be the first rifle round, trying to make their way up A main to find some early aggression. Ape as well, going to be making his way up through the tunnels over towards B. Might better spot out the 3 players here with the bomb. Currently, they do hear him out, so they know that he's there, and you can see that they knew because they immediately went for the aggressive peek. He's going to fall back passively onto the site. Meanwhile, out towards A, Android does find one out onto Hazed. Cutler's here to try and get the return frag, and he does so. Uber's going to fall to the might of his AK. Picks up a 2nd frag as well, so now the rotate's moving in over towards A. It's all on 8 in towards B. Might be able to find one, and he does so, but it's going to get taken down in the process. Now it's a 1 versus 2, and it's all on Def for this side of Complexity.
Yeah, loads of time to play with for CLG, which is a big problem for Def. The bomb actually on the top, which does mean he has to go and get it and drop back down, and that's right into the clutches of his opponent. Def now with a big advantage. In fact, as Cutler has no HP, and he will close this down, the 1v2, and well, that should have been around. CLG took away from the CT side. Instead, no bomb plant, no money, and they're going to have to try and do this once again with just pistols.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, CLG
timing
being, the timing there not coming up in the favour of CLG. Once again, relegated back onto a pistol buy. You got 3 Deagles and 2 PT50s to try and make this work. It's a nice little pattern as well. But they are going to be this time trying to change things up. I mean, you have the bomb once again making its way faster over towards the B area. It's all going to be on Ethan to try and open things up. Does do a little bit of damage onto Ape early on. And actually CLG now kind of conforming back to a more similar strategy that we've seen them do already. Just a B rush, just a rush B. Don't get more matchmaking than that.
Yeah, great opportunity to get a bomb down on the B side. Of course, they do have a couple of players up close, and Ape is going to be spraying away. Already gets a couple, and Android is there to help him out. Looks like the bomb plant will be denied, although Hayes manages to get one, and almost onto Android as well, but it will still be the 4-0. They only lose an SMG, and they're going to be straight back in with the buy on both sides, in fact. Now, I wonder if Complexity will keep any of these SMGs in play. Now, it looks like they are going to throw over a UMP. They still have the MP9, in fact, in play, but Surreal, he's gone straight for that AWP. Now, this is a map where the AWP is, well, it's pretty much a pinnacle of either side of the map, mainly CT, especially in the longer range avenues over towards that A site, but definitely looking to see what he can do early doors.
Yeah, right now CLG looking to take things nice and slowly over towards A. Are lining up these smokes and flashes, just go for a very standard execute here. All 4 players throwing them in now, and well, not too much in the way of lurking. They just dedicate all 5 players out through A main, and that's all it's going to take, sadly, when you do this. 1 Molotov to delay the push, and that's going to give plenty of time for them to rotate the B player in as well. Ape has been doing a stand-up job of defending that on his own, so he's playing the anchor. Surreal's going to find the first, though, in the meantime, with the AWP out onto Hazed. And as you said, the AWP being the pinnacle of this map, it's going to come into play now. Finds a second, looking for a third. It's all going to be Uber, though, with that MP9, putting it to work. Does take down a fully bought player with the SMG. It's going to be $600 farmed up, and now it's all coStar and coL. 2 versus 4. They're going to be spotted out, though. They rotate from 8 going in through CT. Meanwhile, Uber putting the scavenged AK to work, able to pick up a frag, and coming in from high def, once again, putting the MP9 to work. Finds a frag with that, so that's $1,200 farming up on the back of that gun this round.
It did look like CLG got a little bit stuck in their tracks. The remaining 2 players had to sort of stop, and when it came down to that AWP, just able to rattle off shots, and the MP9 using the aggression, it did become a big problem already. Complexity starting to build up a little bit of money. You mentioned the sort of point of that MP9, able to make $600 per kill, and well, 2 different players wielded it and found themselves some kill. Early nade damage once again. Surreal will go aggressive. Another kill for the MP9. Not too much of a loss overall. It will be picked up. And Monster Broza has himself a little bit of Kevlar, so maybe he can make something work with this SMG.
Yeah, Ape, meanwhile, in towards this B site. Is going to be trying to hold it down, being the anchor, as per usual. Surreal now rotating on through, does have an AWP to try and cover the long angles while the push is going to be coming underway. And Surreal finds that first frag out into Ethan. Puts it into a 3-on-4. The one-man advantage now leaning back in favor of Complexity. He's still got lots to give, though, and Uber and Ape chiming in with 2 of their own respectively. Put this all on Sabrosa. 1 versus 4. He's got a lot of frags left to find. So I'm going to find 1 out into Ape, puts it into a 1v3. Switches out to the Tech 9. He's got to ace it for the win. And sadly, it just wasn't meant to be. Uber there is going to find that return frag better late than never, and secures the 6th round on the board for Complexity.
Yeah, the bomb plant, of course, will give them a big boost in economy, so they could even go for 5 AWPs. Wouldn't recommend it, but can at least get 1. And, well, again, that seems to be the way they do it. T-sided up, goes into the hands of coStar. Doesn't look like they're going to pick up a secondary at all. Plenty of utility and even a little bit of bonus cash. Now, you have to remember, that bonus cash is so valuable in terms of their loss bonus, because this means even in the next round, they're going to have a sort of 5k buy no matter what. So this is definitely a decent position for CLG to at least get themselves off the block. But at the moment, they're still 6-0 down. A decent start for sure for Complexity, but a similar start to what they had on the last map, and then things sort of spiraled a little bit, and the half actually went the way of CLG.
Yeah, no, actually, yeah, we did end up seeing that previously, like you say, and let's hope history doesn't repeat itself here. Complexity looking very strong in the early stages of this one. Def going to be able to find 1 frag out into Ethan. He's still alive and kicking. Trying to find a couple more frags. They make their way towards the outside area. Uber is going to be able to find 1, but Def gets taken down for the side of Complexity. It's going to go 3-on-4. The 1-man advantage still maintained by the CT side, but CLG making their way into the site, going very aggressive. It's going to allow Hayes to pick up 1. It's finally going to get traded out by Android. The kills going back and forth, and now it's all on coL. 1 versus 2. The long rotate coming in from Ape, though, from that B site as he positions himself in towards Pop Dog. Does put this in a great scenario here. They have the crossfire set up. The trade should be able to come through. coL flicks out onto the head, doesn't land the shot. Swaps it out for the AWP, goes for the peek, and then Ape comes up, trumps as he does take him down there. Secures the 7th round on the board for Complexity, and right now, they're looking fairly flawless.
Yeah, no, the CT side get themselves a 7th on the board. It will be a buy coming back up, or likely to be. I wonder what will actually be in the hands of coStar. Of course, coming close towards the end, but close was no cigar. And that shot, it was so close to actually giving them an opportunity. coStar will, in fact, have a glass cannon AWP, so not really the worst buy in the world for them to come back in with. But at the same time, 7-0 up. Complexity going to be feeling pretty damn confident. And, well, it seems like they're defaulting back towards the B site once again.
Yeah, it seems to be the site they go to whenever things aren't going right. The issue is the B site isn't going right either. But then saying that, Ape's going to get taken down straight off the bat as Ethan does find the head. takes him down. That was the solo B anchor. Surreal having to rotate on in. It's going to decrease the availability of them being able to hold down the A side, but it doesn't matter because CLG seem to have their hearts and minds set on B. Smokes and Flashes making their way through into the site. Surreal's here on the spools, trying to spot out them as they make their way across. Hayes is going to be able to get his way out onto the site, though, thanks to the smokes. As they plume and just cover the approach. Android does find one on Hayes, but Kusta's there to trade it back through the smoke. Put it into a 4-on-2 as Kusta picks up a second frag with the AWP. And now that bomb's ticking away. It's the first chance that CLG have really had as they make their way into this. Cutler's able to find one. Out into Surreal as well, so now it's all def. 1 versus 4, and, well, he's just going to look to save.
Yeah, I'm always a big fan of going for that B-side aggression and then continuing it. Lots of teams in the past, at least, used to just almost fall back and try and play it passively from the upper position. But it seems to be the new meta, or at least, or the more common way to play it now, is to just continue that aggression on. And we saw it from coL. This just allowed him to, even if he doesn't find a kill, take vision away from the CT side. They know, okay, we have to deal with coL, otherwise we can't do anything else. In the meantime, you've got Kusta rattling off AWP shots, and they're not even able to sort of counter that in any way. So, much better round from CLG. The early pick definitely paid them dividends because there was no way that there was any sort of aggression other than Surreal rotating in. And once that happens, CLG, well, they get themselves around in a decent fashion. However, now there's still the opportunity for the reset. Now, we have to take into account as well, Complexity's economy is not booming by any stretch of the imagination. They are low on money themselves, and this could be a great opportunity as well for CLG to get themselves back into this game.
Yeah, it's a good opportunity indeed. And well, it's going to be reinforced that much more as Cutler and Hayes pick up 2 frags respectively, make that 4 across the board now. Now it's a 1-over, a complete mop-up coming out from CLG. He's able to find 2 as he does switch it out to the AWP. Going to look to keep on going. Here's out one to his right, takes down Cutler as well. So now he's on 3. It's been an incredibly back and forth half so far. CLG looking to be in good standing there, but look at where the bomb's dropped and look at where Uber is as well. It's almost like he has a 6th sense just to track down the explosive. He's like a sniffer dog right now. He's found the hidden explosive. He's going to be going off the flash. I think they know that he's going to be here, so they are both there to try and trade into this. Going to go for the peak with the AWP. Only 30 points of health. Might be able to find 1 frag as they try to get away, but just doesn't spot them out. He's already found 3, and he's got to ace it for the win. Do you think it's possible?
Oh, you've always got to think it's possible. Hayes in a really good position, though, to stop him from actually finding anything as he peeks out. Now, there's so many angles to check. Will he check the one that Hayes has actually sat in? Doesn't look like it, and that will be the end to the streak of Uber. Does some nice damage, of course. Keeps CLG honest. The only problem is, in terms of honesty and not having too much cash, Complexity are definitely at the top of the board.
Yeah, no, I mean, definitely. So, I mean, they don't have a lot of money to play around in this round, despite having 7 in a row, which is quite telling of how close the rounds have been. But even so, I mean, you know, what is one more round that CLG can take away, providing Complexity can start to get the momentum going? Once again, the issue is, if CLG on the T side start to kind of string these rounds together and, you know, build up that economy, that's when things get out of control on a map like Train.
Yeah, no, that is the bigger problem. If the Ts can come back and, well, then we really do have a problem for Complexity. But it's still early. This is just a pistol round, so we can't take too much from this. They still have 7 rounds on the CT side, and I'm not going to just jump on the bandwagon because CLG managed to get a couple of rounds. And you have to remember, they went from, what, a 5 versus 1? Was it 5v1? And he gets 3 kills? That's not a good way to end a round. Like, it became possible. So now I want to see what the CT side have to offer. Now, in terms of an AWP, they could drop 1 over, and then Uber is on just Kevlar and a rifle, so no nades available. That is actually going to be happening. So clearly taking the standpoint that is a huge value for them. The only problem is Surreal so far hasn't done anything too crazy. He's 4-6, not really stepping up. There was a 1 round with the AWP where we sort of mentioned, okay, this is the pinnacle factor, and he did have a moment or 2. But there we go. There's the aggression. He takes down Kusta, stops any early positioning. And well, now we look to see what can be done by CLG when they're a man down. And well, the answer is a quick trade.
Yeah, Hayes able to take that Android out towards A, playing the lurk role perfectly, not allowing this rotate off the A site, while the rest of his team, well, they were looking to make their way towards B, but now perhaps a change of pace. Hayes looking a little bit more viable. That smoke's going to push them out. With a minute 15 seconds left, they can't afford to wait. They find the early equalizer in the form of Hayes taking down Android. Now they're just biding their time in towards Pop Dog and Main, debating whether or not they're going to be splitting out on towards this A site. They're set up in such a way that they can be very fluid and go between whatever. But as the smokes and flashes head out on towards A, it's looking like this is the one they're going to dedicate towards. Def going to find the first out on a Cutler. Gives the 1-man advantage in favor of Complexity. But then the frags going the way of CLG. 3 huge kills as Ethan, Sabrosa, and Hayes all pick up a frag apiece. Now it's all on Ape, 1 versus 3. He's got a lot of work to do. Bomb's going to go down. He does have a kit, but it doesn't have a head. So, you know, ultimately, you know, swings and roundabouts, whatever. It's 7-4 now. CLG, they pick up a 4th round on the board.
Kit and no head. And sort of weighing that one up, I feel like I'd rather keep my head and not have a kit, to be honest. I think that's sort of the favoured one, at least. Either way, that is sort of the break that CLG were looking for. They can send them straight packing back to their pistols once again, and well, CLG can make themselves a little bit of extra money here if they're careful. Now, a lot of players pushing towards Ethan. He's going to have to spray away, controlling things nicely so far. And well, is he going to get all 4? Not quite. A lot of damage done though, and well, 5th round on the board in quick succession.
Yep, CLG doing a good job of slightly clawing their way back into this. It'd be nice to see Complexity kind of pick up with that momentum. I said, you know, 2 rounds going the way of CLG. Is that really that big of a deal? But it's been able to be turned into 5 now, 3 off the back of the original 2. And, you know, it is...
Deja vu.
Yeah, no, it is a little bit like deja vu. And it's a fragile situation for Complexity right now. They need to try and start to get back into that mindset because they were performing incredibly well in the early stages of this game. Now we're going to see them pick up 2 orbs, 1 on the back of Def, 1 on Surreal. It's going to be interesting to see what sort of an impact switching this up is going to have.
Yeah, of course. Double AWP setup on train is not by any stretch anything too uncommon. It's not like they've just pulled this out of the crazy book. This is a very common strategy on the CT side. And, well, in fact, it is just going to be 1 Catalyst player rotation in the form of Surreal, who can just peek back in towards the B site. But really, I want to see what Def can do with the AWP. He's going fairly aggressive at the moment. Will fall back and still just hold this angle over towards A main. In terms of the Ts and their positions, it looks like they're going to go rotating all the way back towards B. Now, this will leave 1 man really to do most of the work. He does have the support of Surreal if he rotates in quick enough, but other than that, it's just Ape, and he's playing in the corner. Goes for the wild spray, gets 2, and well, actually only gets 1. It's Ethan to trade out his teammate, but quickly Kusta finds another to bring it back to a 3 versus 3. The bomb will be going down, and Kusta, he's just rattling off shots across the board, gets himself 3 in a row, and this leaves just Surreal, the 1 single AWP left to fight things back.
Yep, Kusta's already found 3 of his own. Now Surreal has to try and match it as he does pick up the return frag. It's still going to leave it a 1 versus 2. And, well, with Cutler coming in from A as well, it's going to leave it in a tricky situation indeed. Does get tagged through the smoke a bit. And spot out Sabrosa, but still doesn't have the information as to where Cutler is just yet. Spots him out on the train, but Cutler is quicker off the mark. Finds that frag and secures a 6th round on the board for CLG. Now it's going to be incredibly close. There's only 2 rounds left to decide who starts the second half with at least a 1 round advantage.
Yeah, and this is already going back towards the exact same point we were on the last map, where it's like, okay, they got off to a great start, and then when things started to get a little bit rough, everything seemed to fall apart. When the economy game goes wrong for Complexity, everything seems to go wrong. They're now from a 7-0 up to a 7-6, which is a very worrying prospect for them. And, well, if it continues, maybe CLG will take this over the line already, finding the first pick of the round. Ethan will be low, he's on 2 HP, so there's still the potential to take him down and find a rifle. Of course, with 2 SMGs, a Mag 7, this definitely isn't the premium buy at the moment. And Surreal, he will be spraying away and, well, eventually caught out, leaving just 2 to fight. Now, a lot of low HP players, so there is still the possibility here, and there goes Uber actually finding a couple. Will look for the rifle, and Cutler is there to trade, leaving Ape 1 versus 3.
Yeah, he's trying to make his way on towards the A site. Flashes on through, not going to be detected just yet, but doesn't matter because Ethan is there. Takes him down. I mean, like you said, I mean, how old was it, Ethan? I believe it's
16.
16. That's quite a you know, telling.
He's got crisp aim. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, definitely one of the young up and comers.
Look at this.
Last time
how confident do you have to be to do that?
Yeah, no. Last time we saw an Ape get that close to someone that young, it didn't end well either, and it doesn't end well this time. So it's going to go 7-7.
Don't bring that
as Complexity, they need to try and get some more rounds on the board. Ape playing in towards B is going to be the solo anchor here, and he does have the FAMAS in hand. Less than ideal weapon to try and do this with. Kusta makes his way over towards Ivy. He's able to find 1 frag. Finally does. Going to go for the second as well. The Tech-9 coming up huge as he takes down both the players in towards Ivy and puts it back into a 3-on-3. Meanwhile, Ape in towards this B site, still just remaining firm. Not going to be wavering just yet at the lack of attention he's received. Might be able to find 1 here as Ethan goes a little bit curious around the corner. Ape won't able to find anything on the back of that though, and it looks like CLG are thinking about hitting up A.
Yeah, Complexity getting a little bit greedy there after their 2-man advantage was found. And, rather than falling back. They try and take the fight once again, which gives an avenue back for CLG into this round at least. Of course, a 7-7 scoreline. The T side are going to be pretty happy going into this next one, but at the same time, we saw it happen last, and Complexity managed to win it on the T side. Now, Kusta, he's been a big factor so far with this AWP, opening up rounds, and he's going to look to do it once again. Android has been spotted, but he'll be the one to find the first. But there is Kusta once again. AWP coming up big. Now look at the rotation coming from Ape. If he times this well enough, he could be the pinnacle factor in this round. And Android, whoa, he's still firing off shots. He's got himself a third in this round at least. Kusta is all that is left, and he's got to be very careful from behind. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, well, I mean, there we go. Kusta's going to find that frag. He's got 4 to his name right now. He has to ace for the win, and thanks to Ape just handing him that frag on a silver platter, now it's looking like there could be the potential with this, but with only 14 seconds left, it's got to be fast. Well, 20 points of health as well. I'm going to benefit Kusta that much. Android playing over by the train array main. There's got to be not going to be enough time left. He can just play around it right now, and, well, Kusta, you played yourself.
Yeah, he does everything right up until the very last second of the round. Kusta with 4, but it's the time that ends up ruining that round for him. So Complexity will get themselves the half at least. They get an 8-7, but after the start they had 7-0 up to go 8-7. I don't think they'll be happy with that at all. So going into the sort of second half at least, that's where things get a little bit more interesting. We need to see whether or not Complexity can actually continue this once again on the T side. And if CLG will have a better CT side overall, yes, there were technical problems, but towards the end of that last game, they did not have a good CT side no matter what you can really say.
Yeah, no, I mean, not at all. And as we head to the first round of the pistol half, Cutler looking to try and change that. Picks up 2 huge frags there on the back of the USP. Uber's going to be trying to do what he can to trade things out evenly. Does find 1 frag on a Symbrosa. And now you can see Complexity looking to try and double back as the Bomb and Surreal both making their way over towards A. Trying to split out onto the site. They've got Ape down in towards Pop as well. And only being a 1-man disadvantage with 2 members of CLG currently making their way up. Ivy for an information play. This could bode very well for them here, as it does mean there's only 2 of the players on the site currently. As long as trades work out, then this should be good. But the rotates coming in from Ethan. Very prematurely here as he makes his way through onto this site. Surreal's going to get taken down, and now Ape with that Glock in hand, trying to do some damage. It's just the thing is, you've got to remember, Cutler went up Ivy all those years ago, and he's finally going to be starting to see some fruits from that as he makes his way in from behind. Kusta's going to find one in Uber, and Ape, well, never even gets to see Cutler going on that long push as Kusta finds him as well.
He's just rolling all around the site while his teammates, he's like, guys, I'm here. Oh, okay, it's done. Everything is sorted, and while that means that it is going to be that pistol for CLG going onto their CT side. Now again, we've seen this once, we've seen it before, so it is starting to become almost identical to what we saw previously. However, I'm liking the look of this from the Complexity side. They haven't invested too much in terms of armor, ECT, but they've gone for the sort of smokes. They're going for what they can. They're going to try and get onto the site, get the bomb down. Now most teams would rush towards the B site. They've decided, okay, we're going to do our best to get the bomb onto A.
Yeah, and they're giving their all Kusta. Was in a good position to try and come from behind, but Def finds him, and now it's going to go 4 on 4. Ethan coming up huge with the MP9, finds 2, keeps on going. They do get the bomb plant, but Ethan finds a 3rd frag. He's looking for frag number 4. Uber's going to go aggressive, and Hazed is there with the Famous ready and waiting and just rips through the no-armored opponents. Ultimately, though, the bomb plant does go the way of Complexity, and that's exactly what they went into that round for, as you said.
Yeah, no, that was exactly what they set up for. They had the smokes ready. They were trying it on the A side. As I said, most teams, the most common way to do it is, okay, we're going to go and just run out onto the B side. They decided, no, we're going to invest more in the smokes, and it worked quite nicely for them. They get themselves the bomb plant. It allows them to go for a little bit of an investment in this round as well, and they'll come up with the big buy in the next one. So that's absolutely fine for what Complexity are doing. They're trying to get their buy as soon as possible. And CLG, well, they're not going to mind too much. They don't really lose any players because of it, and able to build up the economy of their own, as you said. Ethan getting a triple kill and $1,800 into the bank. So it's not really too bad a scenario for either team. The real test will be in the next round. Already a couple of tags going to come out. Nice little dunk from Cutler, and another MP9 kill coming in. Make that a 2nd, so lots of money coming into the hands of Ethan. Oh, this time he will get the 4.
Yeah,
so
that was
is
ridiculous.
going to be a nice little 2-400.
Yeah, no, that flick, the 3rd frag he got was incredible. I thought that was fantastic. And yeah, that's going to be a nice $2,400 kill bonus. Yeah, he's already on 10,000. And we're into the, what, 3rd round? No, 4th round of the half. So, yeah, no, that's incredible. He's got so much money. He's just going to keep it going. Sticks with the MP9. He wants to keep farming the money up. And you know what? If you got it, then you may as well just keep on going.
Yeah, bonus round for him, trying to make even more cash. Not happy with the 10,000 he's already got in the bank. He wants a little bit more, and coL, well, he wants to take down Uber, and that's exactly what he will do. First pick goes the way of the CT side, and, well, that seems to be the sort of strategy they're holding at the moment. CT side up, coL is your man. T side, a little bit of electrifying coStar to jump out and try and find those frags for your team.
Yeah, and, well, looking at this complexity, they lose the one man early on, and as a result, now they have to try and play off the back of being at this one-man disadvantage. 2 players for them over towards Ivy, with Surreal and Ape making their way in towards B. Surreal actually, instead of opting to head in towards A main, does have the AWP in hand, so it's going to be a good angle for him to try and open things up from. There are 2 players down towards Ivy, which he could definitely do with dispatching for the good of his team. Ape looking like he wants to try and make his way down through Pop. And a potential A split is going to be on the cards here. Rosa trying to land the spray through the smoke. Isn't going to find anything on the back of that, but does go aggressive. The Molotov isn't going to push him out of position just yet. And while that flash hits the mark perfectly, he's going to go for the peek. He might want to find 2 frags here. Finds the first, going to go for the second as well, and takes him down. So now it's a 2-on-5. Surreal has to come up huge here with the AWP in hand. I feel like a lot of this is going to be down to him. Ape as well with the rifle. Well, they both just died, so, you know, let's just gloss over that. It's gonna go 8-11 as that CLG spot another round on the board.
Yeah, and they keep that one really clean as well, which is, of course, great for their economy, and not so much for complexity. They're going to have themselves a few pistols once again. Everything saved for that round, and it does not come off at all, which, well, it really does sort of lead to some problems in terms of how they're actually going to pull this one off. Ethan, he's still got that MP9. He wants to make even more money. Not happy with how much cash he's already got. We'll throw out an early nade, but it's not going to achieve too much. It will be coL to find the first kill, but already throwing out a few nades. Of course, it looks like the T side once again are going to try their best to get the bomb down. The loss bonus will be building up behind them anyway, so they're going to have a buy in the next round. That's not really the problem. Of course, the bonus money is always going to be helpful, no matter what sort of position you're in. Hence, we can see Ethan trying to make more.
Yeah, and I mean, Ethan's had amazing success right now with the MP9. He looks to have even more now. The rush is going to be on the way in towards B. Hayes goes for the spray. Doesn't find much of it aside from massive damage, but sadly, Ethan can't mop it up with the MP9. It's going to be 3-on-4, but so much damage is done onto the members of complexity. It's not looking good. Hayes as well chimes in with a second. Sabrosa in through the connector, able to find one out into 8, but now it's all on death, 1 versus 4, and it was never meant to be. CLG, they pick up a 12th round on the board and take a 4-round lead over complexity.
Yeah, one thing that it seems complexity are quite good at is getting the bomb down. The problem is normally by the time they do, everybody on their team is dead, so it doesn't really help them too much enable how they're going to do this. Of course, we do see a little bit of a tactical pause coming in at the moment from complexity, so they've got some time to actually think this one over. Going into their buy round now, this is going to be an important one for them. They really need to take this round because things are starting to fall apart a little bit. The money is getting to be ridiculous. Finally, Ethan will go, do you know what, guys? Maybe it's time for me to pick up a rifle over the MP9, and he will grab himself the M4. But you just look at the money. He's not even got the top amount. It's Hayes currently sat on 11,000 as well. And this is where, if complexity don't start damaging it pretty soon, then they're going to start to have real problems, and we can see CLG just take this one over the line. Yeah,
definitely. So, I mean, complexity now, they need to try and talk this through more than ever because, like you say, the money's looking incredibly bad. They will be getting the loss bonus. But even then, I mean, if it goes to a 13-8 scoreline and then they lose the next one, it will go 14-8, and they'll have to eco for the match point round. So it's going to be a terrible situation for them to be in, especially when they started this off. What was it, with a 7-round lead?
Yes,
so
7-0.
They've barely been able to pick anything up. coL is going to get tagged down low early on for CLG over towards that B site. Might be able to buy them a little bit of leeway, but complexity look to be fairly set on the A site. 2 players over towards Ivy. Now Ape looking to fall on back and throw in the smokes. Meanwhile, Def and Uber over towards the hot dog area.
Yeah, CT side pretty standard with their setup so far. They've got coL ready to support onto Ethan, who, of course, has had an absolute whale of a time so far, making huge amounts of money. Maybe we get to see what he can do with the rifle. The smokes will fall onto the site, and this is where the Ts are going to be pushing in now. The counter Molotovs have been there to slow them down. This does mean that by the time they get out, eventually, well, the smokes are going to be starting to fade. They won't have too long to actually make their move. Molotovs will now fall in as well, but it's still yet to really do too much. The bomb hasn't actually pushed in anywhere, and it looks like the CT side have not taken the bait. Now, Def, he's going to be able to get a hell of a lot of map control, and that's going to be a freebie onto coStar. The only problem is, well, we're waiting for that bomb, and here it goes. It is going to eventually push out onto the A site. The flank from Sabrosa, though, is going to be the big point of contact.
Yeah, he's coming in from behind. He's going to get spotted out by Ape, so only gets one frag for trouble. Spots out a second though on Android, but Android comes up supreme in that engagement, finds the frag on a Sabrosa. Now it's going to be a 2-on-4. Cutler and Ethan, they have more than enough money to justify going for this. And, well, I mean, they've both been in fairly good form as well as they make their way into this site. This is definitely not out of the realms of possibility. Complexity, they need to try and trade into this well. Ethan does completely flop that flashback, but goes up for the peak on Android. Does get taken out in the process, and now it's all Cutler 1 versus 4, despite having plenty of money. Doesn't want to go for this one. It just wants to try and take the AWP away and take it into round number 22.
Yeah, leaving him, well, pretty much just falling in. I wonder if that was actually a flop or if he just...
Yeah,
he may have actually wanted to check Ivy.
He was just trying to check Ivy.
Don't hammer him too much.
So that was a little bit mean.
Leave little Ethan alone. He's only 16 years old, you bully.
Wow, okay.
No, I'm kidding, of course.
No, that digs deep. Okay, fine, you know. I mean, because I shaved, I only look like a... I actually look younger than
You're
him.
probably... Wait, you're not?
What? Oh, wow, okay. But, yeah, no, so
I
it's going to be...
definitely don't. The receding hairline, I look about 45, so I'm all good.
Yeah, no, you're my dad. You actually drove me here. But, yeah, it's going to be... It's going to be 9-12 currently with Complexity finally getting another round on the board. And Sabrosa getting a little bit aggressive early on. The pop flash coming into effect. He's able to find one on the back of it. Android, though, is able to trade things out. Does get taken out of 34 HP in the process, sorry. But it does become a 4-on-4. They do get control of Ivy as well for their troubles. And they've had to rotate in haste over towards that B site as well. So they don't actually have 3 players on A as they normally would.
Yeah, at the moment, the T's, though, they're yet to really make too much of a move. They're still just hanging out around the sort of Ivy position, waiting to see if there's any further aggression from the CT side. Now, as you stated, this does leave them in a bit of a 2-2 split, which, in terms of rotations, well, obviously it's still relatively quick, but in terms of giving up the site, if they lose A, well, the B players aren't going to be able to do too much. And if they lose B, there's going to be a huge amount of aggression able for the T's to actually make their move. However, it is looking like the A smokes are starting to rain in, but this may just be a fake. The bomb is still pushing its way over towards that B site. However, it doesn't look like the CTs have taken the bait at all. And already Ethan finding one kill over towards the B site will make things a little bit more tricky for Complexity in making their move. Kusta, well, ready to trade quickly after the loss of his teammate. And with 35 seconds left, he is actually going to fall back and give himself that aerial view you can see from upper.
Yeah, it's going to leave him in a good place as they try making their way through to the site. He can also trade out with Hayes nicely. And well, Hayes finds the first, showing that maybe he doesn't need someone to trade for him. Finds a second as well, so basically rendering the positioning there of who was it, Kusta, I believe, redundant.
Yeah, he don't need him. He does not need any help in this moment in time. It works out nicely, and well, that's another round on the board. And you have to remember, that was a sort of one and done for Complexity. They pause, they win a round, they lose a round. And now let's see how their economy stands up. Actually fairly reasonable. They managed to get themselves a buyback on the board. Of course, this time, I reckon it will be the sort of point of reset. So they're going to speed things up. They're going to throw everything against that wall and hope that something sticks. So far, it's Sabrosa to start things off. Oh, okay. Okay, just take one straight back from me. That's fine. Hazed, he's going to be traded by Ape as well. It looks like he's been let loose in this round. Def as well, grabbing that extra kill. And this leaves it actually with an advantage in the T's. Ape going big for his team.
Yep, he's going to find 2 huge frags as he makes his way through to the site. It's going to allow the bomb to go down as well. And now it's all on Ethan and Cutler. Once again, the 2 players that we saw in the clutch situation last time having to try and win this one back. Ethan's going to find the first down of Def. Now, they do know where he is as a result of this, but Cutler taking down Ape, the only player who was really close enough to try and deal with anything there, does put it all onto Surreal, who was, of course, coming in from A main. He's going to be isolated and alone, and he's going to be able to be cut down by Ethan. Of course, went up on top of the train, over the top of the scope. So it's going to go 9-14, a round that Complexity really should have had. Lost over to the side of CLG, now putting them 1 round away from match point. And the economy of Complexity is going to be completely shattered.
Well, that's one of those rounds where you look away and you look back and you go, what just happened? How did they go from a 3 versus 2 to a 2 versus 1 like that? It was actually a click of the fingers and everything fell apart. And it was just big mistakes. They need to have their after-plant positions ready. The A site is built for that. You have multiple train carriages to just hide behind. Why are you being taken down so easily, especially with such an open plant? Either way, oh, Kusta goes for the aggressive peek, the double AWP in play. The T's have got an okay buy on the board. The Tech 9s are basically in play to enable them to get more utility available. Surreal will actually get tagged, and that will give a bit of a sound cue over to Ethan as to where the players are. In terms of their hold at the moment. They do have Kusa already waiting, and the long-range AWP, the Molotov, the nades they can throw out is going to make things so much more difficult, and already they're being slowed down to a T. Uber will be able to get one in the meantime, so far so good. It is just a trade, and well, Ethan still doing the damage again. Hayes will be able to combine with him, and it is looking like they're about to get shut out one more time. Ape and Def, they have to try and fight this one back. They sort of need that plant, but at the same time, they need rounds.
Yeah, Ape hold of mine. We're going to find the second as well, so this isn't impossible just yet. It's a 1-on-2, and Ape has been a stand-up player for Complexity. Potentially could try and secure another round on the board, and I tell you what, I wouldn't be opposed to that. As they have been playing phenomenally well. 6 HP though in a dream. Tries to land a shot out onto Cutler, but Cutler does find him with the 5-7. It's going to go 9-15 as CLG arrive at match point.
Yeah, I just feel like that's the sort of string of rounds now that gets to a point of, okay, I think CLG are more than definitely going to take this one. If they don't, something catastrophic would have to happen, because they've been much more confident. Yes, there was the 7-round start, but since then, you sort of say that, okay, oh yeah, it was 7-0. Since then, it's been 15-2. That's the more scary factor that you have to take into account. Aggressive push will come in at the moment. That's all they can really try and do. They've got the Tech 9s, the Rec 9s are going to try and get as close as they can, and, well, Kusta, he's very happy to keep this one at range. He's got his AWP, spamming shots through, already finds his second kill of the round, and this leaves just 2 to try and hold on to this map for Complexity.
Yeah, it is Ape who's been a stand-up player, but not stand-up enough as Hayes gets boosted on over with the M4 and finds the frag. It's going to go 9-16 as CLG, they take the second map. So it's going to